Here we go. Let's dive into the secrets we bury. We meet Mike Carroll, who introduces us to the Long Island home he's lived in for 63 years, setting the stage for a story steeped in family history and mystery. Mike's eccentric personality and strained relationships within the family are revealed, painting a portrait of a man haunted by unanswered questions. As Mike reminisces about his past, we get a sense of the unresolved pain and skepticism that drive his obsession with discovering the truth behind his father's disappearance. Mike reflects on his seemingly normal childhood with Dorothy, his mother, and his siblings, but the facade cracks as he reveals that his real father, George Carroll, mysteriously walked out on the family. The family's narrative is shaped by Dorothy's insistence that George simply left, leaving confusion and emotional scars. The use of old home videos and tense music underscores the sense of loss and abandonment that pervades the siblings' memories. Jan recalls her mother's explanation that George went out for cigarettes and never returned, a story that became family legend. The siblings discuss rampant rumors and theories about George's fate, from organized crime to secret romances, but nothing ever quite adds up. The absence of a police report and the fact that George left behind personal belongings like his car and wallet adds to their suspicions that something is deeply wrong in their family history. After years of uncertainty, Dorothy divorces Richard Darress, her second husband, following his infidelity. This marks a turning point for the family as Dorothy regains a sense of freedom, leading to more open, joyful moments, including lively skit nights. These glimpses of happiness are tinged with the knowledge that the family's foundation is built on secrets and unresolved trauma. As Dorothy lies on her deathbed, Mike asks her for any information about his missing father. In a poignant moment, Dorothy simply turns, winks, and passes away without uttering a word, taking her secrets with her to the grave. This emotional scene cements the sense of loss and the enduring mystery that haunts the Carroll siblings. Mike's chance encounter with a patient named Yagle at the hospital leads to a shocking revelation. Yagle is George Carroll's brother. The two discuss the family estrangement and the suspicion that George's disappearance may be linked to ongoing construction at the Carroll home. Yagle suggests that George could be buried under the house, introducing for the first time the chilling theory that will propel the family's search for answers. Jean's determination leads her to seek answers through a psychic, dragging a skeptical Mike along. During the session, the medium unexpectedly mentions the possibility of murder and claims George is buried in the basement, specifically under where an old gun range target once hung. The psychic identifies Richard as the perpetrator, further fueling the family's suspicions and deepening the rift between the Carroll and Darress branches. Mike, driven by Jean's conviction and his own need for closure, begins a painstaking excavation of the basement. He spends over a year digging and sifting through dirt, obsessively searching for any sign of his father's remains. The physical and emotional toll is evident as Mike feels isolated in his quest, with only Jean supporting his mission against widespread disbelief. Years later, with Mike's health declining and the basement still full of clutter, his sons Chris and Michael step in. They clear out the basement and bring in a ground-penetrating radar team, hoping that technology can succeed where manual digging failed. The radar detects an anomaly, a 5 by 5 foot disturbance in the ground, renewing hope that the family's search may finally be nearing its end. Chris, digging alone the day before Halloween, uncovers decomposed fabric and strikes something hard beneath the basement floor. He realizes it could be human remains and calls Mike down. The emotional impact is immediate, as Mike and his sons finally confirm what they've long suspected. George Carroll was buried beneath their home all along. The family reports their discovery to the police, but authorities are initially skeptical, suspecting a Halloween prank. Eventually, a swarm of law enforcement and forensic experts descend on the house, cordoning off the area and treating it as an active crime scene. The media frenzy that follows brings the family's painful secret into the public eye, while the investigation confirms the remains are indeed George's, with blunt force trauma as the cause of death. Pat, the family's estranged and troubled sister, shares her harrowing account of sexual abuse at the hands of Richard Darress. She reveals that her cries for help were ignored and that Darress manipulated the family into believing she was simply a rebellious child. This testimony not only validates years of suspicion, but also exposes deeper layers of trauma and complicity within the family structure. Chris uncovers evidence that Richard Darress had a pattern of abusive behavior, repeating his predatory actions with other families after leaving the Carrolls. The family pieces together the likelihood that Darress, skilled at manipulation and violence, was capable of both the murder and subsequent abuse. The montage of revelations paints Darress as a serial predator, deepening the tragedy of George Carroll's fate and the generational trauma left in his wake. In a moving conclusion, Mike reflects on the completion of his lifelong mission to find his father and the bittersweet sense of closure it brings. He keeps George's ashes in a wonton soup container, cherishing the newfound connection. The final scenes show the family coming together for a cathartic memorial, expressing forgiveness, love, and the hope that confronting their buried secrets has begun to heal old wounds. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. See you in the next one.